So today we're going to practice the U.S. Standard Algorithm for dividing. And that is when we use our steps: divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. But I remember it by saying dad, mother, sister, brother, rover. So divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. And what I like doing is putting my all of my multiples for a number over here, up to 10 at least. So I'm going to put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now this is when, if you have a multiplication grid, that will help, but I just like having my multiples right next door. So how many times does 2 divide into 4? And that divides into 2 times. So right here. 1, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to subtract that. 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm going to bring down my next number, which is an 8. Now I need to repeat. How many times does 2 go into 8? It divides in 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Going to subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. I have nothing left to bring down and I have no remainder, so I'm just going to circle 24. Now I also did this on grid paper. I find that to be very helpful because it keeps everything lined up. Let's look at our next problem. Again, I'm going to put down my reminders. Dad, mother, sister, brother, rover. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat. And again, I'm going to do my multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to stop. So how many times can 3 divide into 9? 1, 2, 3. 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. I'm going to bring down my 6. How many times, I'm going to repeat, does 3 divide into 6? 1, 2. Put my 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 6 is 0. I have nothing else to bring down. So my answer is 32. Okay, let's look at this next problem. Again, I'm still going to put my dad, mother, sister, brother, rover. I'm still going to put my multiples 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 5 can't go into 1. So you can, if you want, you can put a 0 up here because it technically goes into 1 0 times, and 5 times 0 is 0. You're going to subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1, and you're going to bring down your 0. And now you're going to repeat. How many times can now 5 go into 10? I'm going to go 1, 2. Goes in 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Going to subtract. 10 minus 10 is 0. I'm going to bring down my next number, which is a 5. 5 goes into 5 1 time. 5 times 1 is 5. And when you subtract that, you get a 0. And there's nothing else to bring down. So our answer is 21. Okay. 4. Dad, mother, sister, brother, rover. I'm doing this because the more times you do it, the easier it's going to be to remember. And I'm going to write down my multiples. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Now, if you know your multiplication facts, you might not need to do this. I just like doing it because it's helpful to me. So divide. How many times can 4 go into 9 without going over it? So it can go 1 time, 2 times, 3 times too many. So I'm going to go back here can go in 2 times. So 4 times 2 is 8. Now we're going to subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1, and I'm going to bring down my 2, which gives us a 12. And I need to see how many times does 4 go into 12. 1, 2, 3. Goes in exactly 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Going to subtract. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 1. There's nothing else to bring down or repeat. So my answer is 23. Okay, we're just going to do 2 more using the US Standard Algorithm. Dad, mother, sister, brother, Rover. And I'm going to put out my multiples again. Okay, so how many times can 2 go into 1? It can't, so I'm just going to put a 0 here. And now we're going to look, 2 times 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. And we're going to bring down our 3. How many times can 2 go into 13 without going over? I'm going to look. Okay, it's smaller. 14 is too big, so I'm going to go back here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 times 6, I can go right back here. It tells me it's 12. And I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1, and I'm going to bring down that 4. And now we repeat. How many times can 2 go into 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus 14 is 0, so our answer is 67. And there's no remainder. Okay, here is our last one. Again, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 48. And again, if you have a multiplication grid, you can do that. So how many times does 6 go into 4? It can't. So that's going to be a 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Subtract it. We have a 4. We're going to bring down our next number, which is a 0. How many times can 6 go into 40 without going over? Okay, that's smaller. 36. 42 is too big, so I'm going to go back to 36. Let's see how many times that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 40, or 6 times 6 is 36. Now I'm going to subtract. You can't take the 6 from a 0. So this becomes a 3. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. Again, we're going to bring down our next number and repeat. So I already know that it can go in 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. We're going to subtract it, and again, I know I'm going to get 4. So I have a remainder, because there's nothing else to bring down, of 4. So my answer is 66, remainder 4.